Hello, I'm Professor Lieu. Welcome to our live stream. Today, we are going to go over all of the nuts and bolts that you need to know in order to use OBS Studio to do a hands-on art demo. If you would like to grow as an artist and you can't afford an art class, we've got everything you need here at Art Prof, critiques and tutorials. What I recommend you do before you guys really get into OBS is take a look at this video, which has general practices that you can apply to any platform. For those of you who are doing remote teaching, I think it's great to see that general foundation that I'm building this stuff on top of. And this is also a stream that's very important if you want to be able to live stream to YouTube using OBS. And then this stream will help you in terms of getting the physical setup you need, all of the information about equipment and what to buy, what not to buy. So those are all streams that I really recommend you guys watch in conjunction to the one that you're going to be watching today. All right, let's just start out by talking about what OBS is, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions. I think sometimes people think, well, is OBS like Zoom? Is it like Google Meets? It's not. OBS is streaming software in that it's like Photoshop or Premiere. That's its purpose. It doesn't actually go online. It's something that you hook up to go online, but beyond that, it's just software. Best thing about OBS, it's free, which to me is crazy. This is such a useful piece of software, and it really is the only one that I do demonstrate to all teachers across the board because anybody can use it anytime. There's a couple of things you can do with OBS. One of the things you can do is you can actually connect OBS to your YouTube channel so that you can create a video layout in OBS and then it streams live into YouTube. And the other thing that I think a lot of people don't realize you can do as well is if you don't want to stream live and you want to just pre-record a video, OBS will actually make a video file that you can upload anywhere. You can't edit in OBS, so what I usually am telling teachers to do, treat it like a live stream where you just click record, keep going, and then you can upload it somewhere else. It's so much easier than any other platform for pre-recording. So I really recommend you guys do that. And I really think the best use that I have seen for OBS has been these live draw-alongs that we're doing here at Art Prof. They've been very popular. And tell us in the chat, because I know a lot of teachers are going to be watching this later, why you guys who come to the draw-alongs like them, because they are somewhat of a foreign experience if you are not used to it. But basically, it's where I draw live and I create this video layout, which I make in OBS, and you can save this template so you can use it anytime you want. So I have a reference photo, I demonstrate the process, and you guys draw along with me. It's awesome. I love seeing everybody being so productive during these live draw-alongs. And basically what you guys can do if you're doing a live draw-along is you can reply to the live chat, you can draw. There's so many opportunities for engagement. That's the most important thing about live video that I think is so powerful compared to pre-recorded video. And then usually what we do after the draw along is people draw with me live, and then we head over to the Art Prof Discord and everybody uploads all the stuff that they make. And it's really, really fun. I like it because it's in a group chat situation. I think sometimes people don't really want to post on social media because they feel like they're going to be judged. So this is a nice, more private space where people can share and not feel like you're there to perform. You're really just there to learn from each other, which I think is really terrific. And if you guys want to know how to use Discord, I do have this video. I recommend taking a look at that if you want to explore it. And this is actually the most recent live stream that I did a couple days ago. So you guys might want to take a look at that. So let's break down the advantages to OBS, because there's so much you can do in OBS that's just not possible, and a lot of other platforms that I see teachers using. So in OBS, I think the best thing is that you can create a customized video layout. So you guys can see on the left-hand side, these are two different layouts that I tend to use for the draw-alongs. And these are called scenes in OBS when you compose a video layout. And the really cool thing about these scenes is that you can switch between them during a live video with literally one click. It's awesome. I mean, you can just keep going back and forth. And then the other great thing about OBS is that you can add so many different what are called sources in OBS. You can add multiple cameras, you can add images, slideshows, browser pages. There's so many options that you can put together in other platforms that you can't really do. Well, I'm very excited to see that Anya R is joining us for the first time. So thank you so much for joining. And we love it when we have new people who are coming to join the Art Prof family. I see a lot of people are wanting to live stream on Zoom and record videos in Zoom. And yes, technically you can have a Zoom call, have all your students watch and try to do a demo. You can also record in Zoom as well. But let me tell you guys, Zoom is so limited in terms of what you're capable of doing. And I know a lot of people are used to Zoom. And so what I'm seeing is a lot of teachers are sticking with Zoom. But the thing is, you guys, if you just take a little bit of time and learn OBS, OBS is the long-term solution. Zoom is the Band-Aid that keeps falling off. It's not that effective. I mean, yeah, it'll get you by, but it's not made for live streaming. And for me, the biggest reason to not use Zoom is you can't customize the layout. You just have to live with whatever windows Zoom provides. And so there's no flexibility there in terms of creating a layout. And I think for a hands-on demo, it's really important. If you're just doing a talking head video, I don't think it matters. But for these hands-on demos, absolutely. The other thing about Zoom is I'm seeing a lot of teachers who are saying, oh, well, I can do multiple camera views. I'll just log in another account in Zoom with my phone. And yes, again, you can, but it's like, it's so much workaround to do something which is so easy to do in OBS. So I'm a big fan of long-term solutions because unfortunately this pandemic, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. Zoom is not a long-term solution. The other thing about Zoom, which is problematic, and I actually saw somebody post something about this in Facebook the other day, is that let's say you do record a video in Zoom, then you have a video file. And then it's like, where does the video file go? Okay, you got to upload it somewhere else. Maybe you put it in Google Drive. But then the other issue is that the video files, they're big and they take up a lot of storage space. And it doesn't matter if you have a lot of room on, say, Google Drive, because you still have to have the video file yourself. And so it's a real issue because then you have to like, where do I put the video file? How do I get students to access it? It's a big pain in the butt because the whole thing about teaching online is we really have to set up systems for ourselves where things are automated. And to me, Zoom is just so much extra work for something that OBS and YouTube are just going to do for you. That's the most important thing. Okay, so let's talk about OBS sources and what some of those will look like. And towards the end of this video, I will show you step by step exactly how to add the sources and what you can do with them. But I just want to show you the overview so you see the potential of OBS. For example, if you do a live draw along in YouTube, there's a live chat. In fact, there's one right now. So you guys in the live chat, tell me what you like about the live chat, because I think what's cool about it, it's not just you guys interacting with me, it's you guys hanging out and talking with each other. And I think in a classroom, you want that. You want that peer-to-peer situation. Now, you can usually have two cameras. So what I typically do is I have a webcam, which is camera one, And I usually use that for the drawing view, because with the webcam, you need to be able to move it around and position it correctly. And then I have a second video camera, which is my laptop camera, and that's on my face. So that's a lot easier to position. And then you can add all kinds of images. You can drag them, crop them, resize them. You can layer them. Super, super flexible. And then there's other fun things you can do with window capture. So basically anything you can get on your desktop can go into OBS. So what I do sometimes is I'll just look up timer on Google and I'll crop and resize it so it just shows the numbers on the screen. So I know some people say, well, I want to use PowerPoint or I want to use Photoshop to demonstrate something. You can totally do that in OBS with window capture. I really like this comment from Karen A, who is saying that classroom banter is important, so the live chat is a good alternative. Yeah, because you lose that in a remote teaching situation, that casual, random conversation that you have about pizza. You don't really have that opportunity when you're teaching remotely. All right, so again, OBS is free and it's really easy. You just Google it, you download it, which is pretty simple and straightforward. And now let's go over how you can connect OBS to YouTube. So when you connect OBS to YouTube, what you want to do is you have to find your YouTube live dashboard. So the way you do that is you go to your YouTube channel, find your icon in the upper right-hand corner, and then you have the drop-down menu and you look for YouTube Studio. That's where you do all your management for your channel anyway, so that's an important page to know about. And so that just brings you to your channel dashboard. And what you guys want to click on, there's a button in the upper right-hand corner that says Go Live. And so that's going to take you to your YouTube Live dashboard. And so this is where you would put together your upcoming streams. I'm not going to go over that because that's actually in another video. But what you would do is you want to click on whatever stream you're about to do. And that brings up then, this is the dashboard for that one video. And if you guys look on the bottom left, you will see this little section that says stream key. And so you're just going to go in there, you're going to copy that stream key. And then you would open OBS, and then you'll see in OBS on the bottom right, you're just going to click the settings button. After you click settings, it's going to pop up this new window. So on the left-hand side, you guys want to click stream. When you click stream, it's then going to open this new window, and you can see where there are all the dots. It says stream key. And so that is where you're going to go in and you're going to enter your YouTube stream key that you just copied. And then your OBS is linked to your YouTube channel. So now whatever you do in OBS is going to go into YouTube. You do have to have both open, okay? Sometimes people say, oh, well, I did this in OBS, it didn't go into YouTube. You have to have them both open. And so what I recommend you guys is that you watch that other stream that explains how to do that. But really, this is the coolest thing about OBS is that once you stream to OBS Live, it goes right into your YouTube channel. You don't have to download a file. You don't have to upload it anywhere. You don't have to find the link and send it to your students. It's all on YouTube. It's so much easier. We have a comment here from Mark. They are saying, I've been working with OBS to record demos, but the camera quality is not very good, even though I'm using my iPhone as a webcam. Any ideas to improve video quality? I mean, I would recommend getting a webcam. I don't know technically all the numbers about resolution and everything, iPhone to webcam, but a webcam really is made for that. And the thing is, there's always going to be less quality on the YouTube video. So that's why in the draw alongs, when I go into the Discord to show what I made, people are always saying, wow, it looks so much better in the photo than it did on YouTube. But that's inevitable. I mean, you're never going to get something that looks that amazing. The only way is if you had like fancy camera and stuff like that, which most people don't have. And honestly, the webcam is better because it's lightweight. You can position it in different ways. You can do all kinds of things. So in my opinion, I think the webcam is enough. I don't know what yours looks like, Mark, but it's possible that maybe your internet connection isn't perfect. But yeah, I mean, inevitably the video quality is compromised because you're doing a live stream. And I like this comment from Karen, who is saying Discord afterwards is also important for contact. The theme might change here along the way. Last Sunday, we ended up showing boxes of pastels to each other. I know. Well, see, the thing is, it's like that Discord conversation after the draw along, that is also classroom banter because we're showing each other our drawings that we did, but inevitably we start talking about sushi and all kinds of other things. And I know for a lot of teachers, trying to get to know your students is very challenging when you teach remotely. And so those types of spaces where people are live in the chat together are so precious. Okay, so this is the video to watch if you want to know how to set up a live stream, if you want to know how to run one. I go through all the basics in this video. And let's just show how to pre-record a video on OBS if you need to. I would say, teachers, when you're teaching remotely, you should always try to stream live. In any situation where you can, you have the time, the space to do it. Live video is so much more effective in terms of engaging with your students. But I know sometimes, yeah, you do want to pre-record a video. But I would say, guys, don't edit. I mean, editing is such a pain. It takes up time. It is just not necessary for remote learning. Because think about this, like if you're in a classroom teaching in real life, you don't get to edit yourself. Like you just have to go there and talk. And so what I'm trying to say about pre-recording a video in OBS is you treat it like a live stream. It's just you're not live streaming. That's the difference, okay? And so of course, if you mess up, you can start again, but I think it's totally fine just to click record and go. And so what OBS ends up doing is it records the video for you, and then you end up with a video file, and you can put the video file anywhere you want. It's very easy to do. You just go into OBS and you click Start Recording in the lower right. And then you'll see at the very bottom, I really wish this was bigger, but there's like a little red dot, and you can see it says record, and it will start logging how long your video is, which is really nice, especially if you're trying to get the video to be a certain length of time. And then when you're done, you just click stop recording. And to find your video file, you just go to File, click Show Recordings, and then it's just gonna pop up an Explorer window, and you'll see your videos right there, okay? So you end up with a video file. You can upload it to YouTube, you can put it into Google Drive, wherever you guys want to put that. This really is the fastest way, I think, to pre-record a video that has no editing involved, because again, you want to take advantage of those customized layouts. Okay, so that's how you pre-record in OBS with no editing. And I've gotten this question a lot from teachers. I will not be able to get into all the nitty-gritty. I think we're going to have to do another stream about this. But what if I want to have a guest on a live stream? I know a lot of teachers, maybe there's a visiting artist that you would like to have come and do a presentation, or maybe you want to have a discussion with a bunch of people. So the question is, can you do that in OBS? Okay, technically you can, okay, but it's really hard to set up and it's glitchy. It's not reliable. We did do multiple guests in OBS for a long time at Art Prof, and it worked, but it had a lot of problems and the setup was a pain. So I don't recommend using OBS if you want to have a guest. What I do recommend is using StreamYard. And honestly, I cannot believe more people don't know about StreamYard, because StreamYard is so user-friendly. I think it's more user-friendly than OBS, which is sort of crazy because OBS is already fairly user-friendly if you take the time to look at it. But StreamYard makes it so easy to host a guest. I really like their templates. They're so easy to navigate. It's literally one click. But there are limitations to what StreamYard can do. I do think if you guys really want, again, a long-term sustainable situation, it would be good to explore StreamYard. But like I said, you could always, for example, host a visiting artist in Zoom, have them do a slideshow that way. I just really like StreamYard because StreamYard hooks up to YouTube. And so your video goes right onto YouTube. Whereas if you go on Zoom, you have to, again, upload the video and put it somewhere else. So let me just show you guys really briefly. We're not going to actually go through StreamYard step by step because it would take too long. But this is what StreamYard looks like when I open up the dashboard. And the really cool thing about StreamYard is you don't have to open YouTube. You just do everything in StreamYard. StreamYard is a web-based program, and it's much, much easier, I think, than using other platforms. And so this is what we use here at Art Prof. We have many different types of tutorials, okay? So when we have a discussion video where we're just talking and we're showing some images, and it's a bunch of us, let's say 3 of us having a discussion, we use StreamYard. So much easier. Now, when I do a hands-on demo, I need to show myself drawing and have my face on at the same time, I use OBS. So it is really handy to know how to use both, because now that we have a system in place here at Art Prof, it's so easy for me to get everything done. Now, that said, it takes time. You have to learn how to use OBS. You got to learn how to use StreamYard, but it is doable as a long-term situation. We have a comment from Ron Nook. They're saying, not sure if I'm going to be teaching online in the near future, but I'm going to add this to one of my like videos in case I or someone else needs it. Yeah, I mean, you guys have no idea. Like maybe you'll be teaching a class sometime. Maybe you want to set up your own YouTube channel. I mean, there's a lot of art tutorial YouTube channels out there, and we'd love it for you guys to send people over to us. So let me show you guys unique qualities to StreamYard and OBS that you can't do in the other, because each one does really specific things that are great, but it also has limitations. And so that's why they're really good complementary streaming software, because what one does not do, the other one does. And so if you use both of them, you'll be in pretty good shape. So the cool thing about StreamYard is you can host up to 9 guests. I don't know why you would want to have 9 people in a live stream. That sounds like chaos. But if you wanted to, you could. And so 10 people total is what you would end up with. StreamYard is so user-friendly. Out of all the platforms that I've had to learn to do live streaming, it's the one that took the least amount of time. I find it very satisfying, really straightforward. It's just so easy to use. The other cool thing, you guys, this is actually my favorite thing about StreamYard, is showing live chat comments on the screen. So for example, Blue Wolf Spirit has this comment. They're saying, you don't use the sculpting tool to paint, use the appropriate tool for the situation. So in OBS, you can't do that. You just would read the comment out loud, and it's fine, but like, guys, isn't it awesome when you get to see your comment on the stream? You just feel so seen. It's like really fun. And it's great for us because we really can reference the comment that we're addressing. And I just found it such a game changer in terms of live streams and really trying to engage with people. Rebecca is asking, do your guests have to download StreamYard and master it? Nope. All they need to do is you send them a link to the StreamYard stream, and then they enter, and that's it. It's sort of like Zoom in that you get a link that you set up in advance. So they just go to the link. There's a button that says Enter Broadcast Studio. They click on it, and boom, they're in the stream. So I don't think you need to download the app. I think you just get the link and go in. I could be wrong, but it's really easy. Like, you don't need an account. You just go in. You don't have to do anything else. Here's another good comment from Karen, who's saying StreamYard is easier on the eye when you have more people on. Yep, OBS can get wonky. Like, let's say you wanted to host 5 people. Ugh, then the layout is a big pain in the butt. StreamYard has pre-made templates that you can click between. And so you can't make a customized video layout. That's the limitation. But it is very streamlined and really smooth looking. Rachel says, I would download StreamYard just for that logo. And Ron Nook is saying, I love seeing my name in an Art Prof video stream. I know, isn't it cool? Like, I just love that part. And here Blue Wolf is saying, agreed, it encourages comments. Like, it makes you want to comment more than in OBS, where we can't visually show the comment. Now, here's the thing. These are a bunch of things you can do in OBS that you can't do in StreamYard. The biggest one is you can customize the video layout. Like you can put the image here, you can drag it down, you do all those things. StreamYard, you can't do that. StreamYard, there are different templates that you can navigate between, but you can't actually build a template, which for a hands-on demo is huge. You need to be able to do that. The other cool thing about OBS is you can save those templates so you can use them anytime you want. Again, StreamYard, you cannot do that. And in OBS, you can add a whole bunch of different sources. So if I wanted to import a browser page, if I wanted to import a slideshow, if I want to type text into the video screen, I can do all those things. StreamYard, you can't. StreamYard, the only option for what you can show other than the people on video is a slideshow. That's it. And so it is limited in that way. But for a talking head video, you may not need more than just a slideshow. So it's really, really helpful. Okay, so this is the difference. Like in OBS, I can make a customized layout. I got to determine the images, the size, everything. It's fabulous. StreamYard looks more like this. So you would have 3 people on the side, and then you have the slideshow, which is the screen sharing function on the side. And again, there's different layouts, like you can move the people around into different templates. So let's actually go into OBS and let me show you guys how OBS works step by step. So let me just change up what's going on here because I need to get into OBS to show you guys what's going on. So let's share my screen, get into OBS. Okay, here we go. We do have a comment here from Bimbo. My school district requires me to use Google Meet only, but I do know you can use OBS as a video output for Zoom or Google Meet using the virtual cam plugin. I'm considering using it. I've never used OBS with Zoom before, so I don't really know how that works. But yeah, I mean, research it. I'm sure there's stuff online that you can find. Fievel says, would StreamYard and OBS stream through a private YouTube? I have a friend who's a university professor struggling to teach online, but she teaches to a limited audience. So you can't make a YouTube channel private, but there are tons of privacy settings that you can create to make your YouTube channel very private. So if you only want your students to access, pretty easy to do. And what I would recommend, watch my video on how to live stream on YouTube. I go over all the privacy settings. So yeah, that's absolutely a possibility. So the thing is, you don't use StreamYard and OBS together. You would either use StreamYard to YouTube or OBS to YouTube. And I do both. So I just switch between the two depending on the type of video that I'm making. Rachel is saying, what does OBS stand for? That is not irrelevant. This is a video about OBS. It's Open Broadcaster Software. That's what it stands for. Or maybe it's Studio. I don't know. It's either software or studio. It's one of those words. Anyway, that's what OBS is used for. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go through step by step different ways that you guys can use OBS. So the first thing you want to do is you want to create scenes. So in the lower left-hand corner, this is what you're looking at. These are all different scenes that I have made in advance that OBS will save for me. So for example, when I'm doing a live drawing stream, this is what you guys are looking at. And if I want to do a talking stream, this is what you're looking at here. Now, I know it looks wonky. It's because my webcam is being used by StreamYard right now, and so that's why OBS can't pick it up. Probably should make myself look a little less huge, but anyway, let's go back. Okay, there we go. I look a little less big here. Okay, so those are the scenes, and you can go back and forth. Literally, it's one click. Like if I want to switch to the other scene, I just click once, and then I'm in the other scene. So you can totally do this in the middle of a live stream and not stress about that. Bimbo is saying, I think the reason why it's quote open is because it's an open source program, meaning everyone has access to the code so they can create their own plugins to make it better. Oh, I had no idea. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's not something I can do, but of course, if you want to, eat your heart out. Okay, so what you want to do when you create a new scene is you're going to click this plus button and then you want to enter the name of the stream. So let's just say live demo, and you're going to click OK. All right, so now you see in here in the sources window, there's nothing in there, okay? Back here, you can see this is full of all these different sources that I want to put into the stream, but in an empty scene, there's nothing in here right now, okay? So what you want to do next is you want to start adding sources, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself back in here. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually make this full screen so you guys can see that a little bit better. So I'm going to actually add video capture device. And again, because I am using StreamYard, using my webcam, it gets a little confusing. It will not be confusing for you guys, but let's just say I do OK. And then it brings up all these different options. So for example, this is my webcam. And if I click down here, it's giving me, oh, actually, the integrated webcam, I believe, is my laptop. Okay, yeah. And then this is my separate webcam in here. So you guys would pick one of these and it would work. For me, it's not going to work because, again, StreamYard is using my stuff. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do video capture device, and you can do add existing. So these are ones I already have set up. So I'm going to do laptop camera, and here I am. So that should pop up right away. Now, the next thing you need to do is you need to add an audio source, okay? So you're going to do plus, and you're going to do audio input capture. And so let's just do, my microphone is called a blue snowball, so I'm just going to type in blue snowball like this. All right, and so now up here, it's asking you for a device, and you can see you can use the microphone on the webcam or the microphone here. I'm going to do blue snowball because that's my microphone. Click OK. And then does everybody see here? It says blue snowball. And then because you see this moving all the colors, you know that it's actually working. OK. Now you can mute yourself. Like if you come down here, you can actually go in and do this. And so now you guys, well, before you couldn't hear me, okay? Now there's another thing you can do as well, is if this is like way too loud, you can actually pull this down. So if I want to make myself really quiet, I can do this, and now you guys can probably barely hear me. Or you can pump it up to the regular volume, and that's gonna sound a lot better. Okay, so that is your audio input. Now let me show you guys how to add some images. So actually, I'm going to drag myself over here, and I'll show you guys how to crop in a little bit. I just feel like I look too gigantic. Okay, so let's talk about images. So let's put in, you're going to do plus image, and let's just say anatomy. Okay, so do OK. And then you're going to browse. So you're just going to go into your Explorer window. I'm going to go into YouTube Live, and I'm going to just pick something. Oh my goodness, I have so many slides. Let's do screenshots. I think we need to look at Christian Bale. Okay, here we go. So now we've put Christian Bale into the stream. And what's cool about the images is you can do a lot with the images. So let's say I don't like how big this is. I can make it as small as I want. I can make it really big. You can make it so it's like pass. Like you can actually make it really gigantic. I like that, Christian Bale. Okay, so you can change the size. And then the other thing you can do is you can drag it around. So wherever you want to put this is terrific. And you can also crop it. So if you hold down the Alt key and then you do this, you can change this to whatever cropping you want. If you want to make it really tiny and focus on his clavicles, you can definitely do that. Or if you pull it out of the way, you'll notice that if it's a red line on the edge, that means that's the edge of the image. If it's green, that means the image has been cropped. So you're just going to go back in here, and I can hold Alt and pull it out like that. Okay, so let's make Christian a little bit bigger. Okay, that's nice. I like this. Raw Nook just want to say you're doing an awesome deed. You didn't even have to do a video like this, but you did. Well, you know something, Raw Nook? A lot of the teachers are really struggling because they're not getting training from the schools. Nobody's helping them with equipment. And I'm sitting here like I have all that information. Why shouldn't I share it with you? Totally makes sense to me. Okay, now the other cool thing you can do about this image, so if you select it and you can see this red line shows up, if you want, you can move it with arrow keys, because sometimes you just want to move it like just a couple nudges. And sometimes with the mouse, it's hard to do that. So just arrow keys on the keyboard allow you to push things up and down just like this. So however you guys want to do that. But of course, it is faster with the mouse, just like that. Okay, so now what you can do is you can add some text, all right? So you would go down into the sources, and you're going to click text like this. So let's just write Vale rice. Hey, you know, you got to keep these dry streams fun. Okay, so let's do, okay. All right, so now in this window, you can do all kinds of things. Customize your heart out. You can do select font. So if you want to do, let's do some weird font. Oh, not Comic Sans. Okay, not going to do Comic Sans. And then you can do bold if you want. You can change the size of it. Let's just do something like, how about something like that? Okay, so let's do okay. And now you type in what you want to say. So how about Christian, let's see, Christian Bale, I love your pectoralis major. How's that? Okay, so now you can select a color. Let's make this bright yellow like this and do okay. Whoops, let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, there. And then you can add different things. Like if you want to change the opacity, you want to make it like more subtle, or if you want to make it totally opaque, you can do that as well. If you want to change the alignment, center or left, you want to change the vertical. I mean, so many cool things you can do. Okay, so let's do, okay. Oh, that's tiny. Okay, let's make that a little bit bigger. I don't think I like that. So what you can do if you make a source and you don't like it, you just double click on it and you can change it. Let's change the color. You see this a little bit better. Okay, so let's do the color. And I think I made that way too tiny. So let's make it 72 and maybe that'll look better. Okay, so there we go. Now we have Christian Bale, I love your pectoralis major. Let's put it down here. There we go. Okay. So there you got your text. And again, like everything else, which is the source in OBS, if you want to make it gigantic, if you want to move it down here, you want to put, like you can totally have the source go off the video format, but it's fine because you can always just drag it back. Okay, so let's make that a little bit smaller like this. All right. Nice job. See, you guys thought you were learning about OBS, but you're actually learning anatomy in the process, right? Okay, so now we have the text in there. Another cool thing you guys can do is you can add a browser page, because I know sometimes if you're teaching, you have some site that you want to refer the students to. And sure, you can send them the link, but what I think is easier is to give them a visual. So if you do browse, you do, not browse, browser, click browser. And so let's just say you want to show them artprof.org, do okay. And now you're going to find a link. So I actually have to pull up a link right now. So let me just find a link. So let's do that. Let's do a tutorial page. Okay, so I'm back here. Now what you're going to do is in the URL box, you're going to paste a link, and you can make the link as big or as small as you want. So I'm just going to say 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels, do okay. And so now this is a browser page that I have pulled up. And now you can say, okay, everybody go to this website. This is the page. And again, like all the other sources, you can click Alt. You can crop it like this. You can make it bigger. What I usually do is I'll make it larger and then I'll crop it so it looks a little bit neater, and then maybe make this more like that. Let's pull that down a little bit. Okay, so now we have a browser page, and that's really, really handy. Another cool thing you guys can do is you can add a color source. So the way you do that is you tap on color source, and let's just say purple. Let's call it purple shape. Okay. And this is similar to the text one where you just go and you select a color, do OK, and you can change the size of it. The window for a video in OBS that I have it set to is 1920 by 1080 pixels, which is actually the size of a YouTube video. So teachers, you might want to remember 1920 by 1080. It's going to be handy when you guys are making this stuff. So now I have a big purple rectangle, and I can make it really small if I want. I can make it really thin like this. And that's really handy because maybe you want to do something like, let's get rid of artprof.org. And maybe I really want to emphasize Christian. Although I don't like purple. Let's change this. Okay, let's change this to, how about something like a nice soft yellow? There we go. Okay, so let's do OK. All right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this. Let's have some fun, guys. All right, so I'm going to take this shape, and I want to put it underneath my text. So what I'm going to do, and actually I need to rename this because it's confusing. So if you want to rename, you just click rename, and then I'm going to type in yellow shape. So now we know what that is, like that. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, if I want to put Christian Bale's text over the soft yellow, I just drag it and I put the source over the yellow source. Okay, so now I have this text on top. This one I can resize if I want. And now you can also move this if you want Christian Bale to be a little more centered. There we go. I think that looks pretty good, you guys. Okay, so that's the color source. Let me show you guys now how to do window capture, because what I do often in my live drawing streams is I will have a little timer in the lower left-hand corner, because oftentimes I'm doing like a gesture drawing tutorial. I want to time the pose, and I want the students to be able to see the timer at the same time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen for a second because I want to show you guys the browser window where I'm going to show you how to get the timer. Okay, so let's do share screen. Let's go here. Okay, so now I'm in a browser, and if you want to get a timer, you just type in timer. Thank you very much, Google. Okay, so here we have a timer, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do window capture of this browser window, okay? So what I want to do now is I'm actually going to go back into OBS. So I'm going to stop screen for a second, and I'm going to share OBS so you guys can see that. Okay, so now I'm back. Okay, now what you're going to do is in the live demo, if I want to put that timer in here, is I'm going to do window capture. Okay, so let's do timer like that. And what you're going to do is down here in window, it's going to ask you to select whatever windows you guys have up. So you can see it just pops up everything. Like right now, I have Streamyard, I have the timer, I have a calculator. So whichever one of these you want, you just select. So let's do timer. And so now we do, okay. So now what you see, this is the window browser, which has timer on it, but it's way too big. So if I want this to look better for one of my live streams, I'm going to hold Alt. I'm going to do this. I'm going to crop it like that, because really the students only need the numbers. So we're going to do this. Okay. And now sometimes you want to make it a little bigger. So let's crop that a little bit better. And let's say I want to do a timer, and I can put it up here, and then I can resize it so it fits a little bit better. So now when I go into the timer, if I want to start it, I'm just going to click start, and you guys can see up here, now the timer is running. And this is so easy for me to use it for a live gesture drawing stream. Yeah, like we've got Prof Terry here saying, great, I'll be doing a live stream gesture demo in about an hour. And Karen is asking, is there a color dropper to make the top color the same as the one at the bottom? You mean the green or the yellow and the purple? I mean, what you could do, you can use this. So let me show you. So if you have the yellow shape here, there are these numbers. Okay, so let's say I wanted to use these numbers for the purple text instead. You could cut and paste the number of this color, and then you can get that exact color in there. I believe it's the same colors that you would use in Photoshop as well. That's how you get the exact color. Okay, so let's actually turn off my timer because we don't need that right now. So stop. Okay, let's see. So we have window capture, and you don't have to do that browser window. I mean, you can do something else. So if I go in and I do window capture like this, I can go in and I can pick something else. So here, let's get really meta, you guys. I can select, this is gonna get really complicated. Like if I wanna pick my StreamYard window, I could do that. Yeah, like this is getting kind of deep, guys. This is sort of existential. So anyway, not to confuse you too much, but in theory, whatever is on your laptop, you can show. So does everybody see, this is my StreamYard window, and you can see like I'm moving around in here. So I'm just showing you exactly what is going on my window. Ivan is saying, would this be similar to how to live stream on Discord as well? Because I have issues doing that. Okay, well, you do not want to use Discord to live stream. I don't think that's a good idea. I think you'd be much better off using OBS to build the video layout, streaming to YouTube, and then share the link to the YouTube channel video in Discord. I think that's going to be a lot better, because the whole thing is that Discord has voice channels, and those are great for conferencing if you're just talking to people, but it's not good for an actual demo. So I recommend using this instead. Okay, Karen is saying, I mean the yellow above and below the picture. Yeah, I think I would just get those numbers, Karen. That probably would take care of it. Okay, so now we have Christian Bale. This is good. I like this. Okay, let me show you guys how to add an image slideshow. So what you want to do is you're going to do new source, and you're going to add image slideshow like this. So you just click OK. And there's a whole bunch of different options you can set. What I'm going to do first is just put the images into the slideshow, and then I'll show you how to change the settings. So here for image files, you click plus, do add files. And I think we need some more hot guys in the slideshow. So let's just pick whatever images you want to put in there. You click open. And so now you can see all the pictures are down here at the bottom. Now there's all these options you have to pick. So for example, if you want the slideshow just to play automatically, you're going to click automatic, and that's pretty easy. I generally don't like it on automatic. So what I usually do is do manual. Now it says here, use hotkeys to control the slideshow. I'm going to show you in a little bit how to set the hotkeys. It's not hard. So you do manual. And then this is also important, is visibility behavior. So always play even when not visible. You probably don't want that. Stop when not visible, restart when visible. Sometimes I don't like that either, because I want to be able to stop in the middle, pick up from where I left off. Or you can do pause when not visible, unpause when visible. The third option for me makes a lot more sense if you're remote teaching. So I'm going to click that one. And then here you have many different options for the transitions between the slides. So if you want to just do like a hard cut, you can do cut. If you want to have a fade, you can do that. So that's what the fade looks like. You can even change how slowly it fades. So this is like milliseconds. So if you want it to be a little bit faster, you can do that. I happen to like the cut, but it's like whatever you guys want to do. Let's just do fade. Okay, so now you're going to do okay. And now here is Killmonger from Black Panther, another hot guy. So we have the image slideshow here. And again, anytime you guys want to change something about one of your sources, you just double click. Okay, now I can go back. If I decide, oh, I don't want to do manual anymore, I can go back and fix it. Okay, so let's do cancel. Now to do the hotkey so I can control the slideshow in OBS, you have to set them. Okay, so here's what you do. You're going to go up here and you're going to go to settings. Okay, so this is now going to open another window and you're going to click on hotkeys. Okay, now this is confusing. I was so confused by this when I first saw it because it lists like all these things and you're like, what do I do? So what's confusing about it, these, which are like really big, these are all my scenes. Okay, so does everybody see? This says anatomy tutorials. That is down here. That's this scene, okay? So skip all the scenes. You don't need this. What you need to do is go all the way down to the bottom, which is where it's your elements. And so I need to go down here to image slideshow, okay? So here's where I would set the hotkeys. So what I usually just do, I just do next slide and previous slide. I feel like that's a little bit easier. So I just use the arrow keys because I think it's easier. So if I tap right arrow key, I end up with that. If I go in here and I tap left arrow key, that's what pops up. And then you're going to click apply and then OK. All right. So now when I click on this slideshow and I go back and forth with the arrow keys, now I can control it. So I can go back like this. I can go forward. And again, if you don't like the fades, you can change it to just cut. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. So you can just do this. And that's a little bit faster. Okay. So this is really, really handy because then you can just get all the images into OBS. Very, very straightforward. Okay. So that is the image slideshow. Let me show you guys now how you would add a video clip into OBS. Now, this has to be a video clip that you own, and you guys cannot play a YouTube video in your YouTube live stream. You will get a copyright claim or strike. Copyright strike is bad because once you get a couple strikes, they actually get rid of your channel. So if you guys want to play a video on a YouTube live stream, it better be your video. It can't be somebody else's because YouTube really has cracked down on that and you guys don't want to lose your channel over that. Okay, so we have a question from Neil who's saying, where did all the Christian Bale text go? Well, let me show you, Neil. So what you guys want to do is you'll see down here under sources, there's like a little eye icon here. And so if I want to get rid of Angelina Jolie, which is fine, let's get rid of her. Now that is back. So what's cool about this is you can hide things. So let's say I don't want to show the timer, I can just turn it off. Or if I want to say, get rid of myself, I can do that. So this is really handy because sometimes you don't want every single source to be showing. Let's just leave it on Christian. How about that? Okay, so let's talk about how to actually put a video into OBS to play it. Remember, it has to be your video. Don't add somebody else's video in there if you're streaming live on YouTube, okay? So now you're gonna do plus, you're gonna do VLC video source. Let's put that in there. And then what you want to do is you can add videos in here. Now this is if you want to have multiple videos. Like if you want to put in 10 videos, you totally can. That's why it says playlist, okay? So you can go in here, do add files, and let's find some videos that we can put in here. So let's say I want to put in, let's see, how about this preview video? I'm going to select a bunch, and maybe I want to put in this video, and maybe I want to put in this video. Okay, so I've selected 3 videos, and I'm basically making a YouTube playlist essentially in OBS. I'm going to do open. So now you guys can see these are the 3 videos that are going to play when I import this source. So let's do OK. And so you guys can see now that this video is playing. All right. So do you guys see how you have to be aware, though, of the audio? Because see here, my audio is working. And here, I'm talking at the same time. So if you guys are playing a video and you don't want any extra noise, I always mute myself. So you just come down here, you click that, and you can see when this turns red like this, that means I'm muted. Okay. So usually what I do, if I'm going to play a video, I will mute myself to make sure there isn't any extra noise. But here's one thing that really confuses people, and I'm going to explain it to you so you're not confused. When you guys play a video, you will not hear the video sound. This is what's going to happen. So that part you guys just saw, it definitely had sound, okay? But I didn't hear it. The way to figure out, is that sound working? You have to check the audio mixer, and you see video capture device. As long as the colors are showing up here, it means that the audio is working. So let me just play it for a second like this. Does everybody see VLC? Video source just showed up. Okay, now it disappeared because I stopped playing the video, but as long as you guys see that it's working in the video capture device, you'll be fine. Okay, we have a question. Neil says, can you also crop and move the videos? Absolutely. Pretty much any source you guys put into OBS, whether it's a slideshow, the timer, the browser page, you can redrag, resize, crop, anything. So let me show you guys how to do that. I'm actually going to mute the video so that way you guys can listen to me. Okay, so you guys should be able to hear me now. So now if I want to take this video and I want to move it around, I can do that. If I want to hold down Alt and crop the video, I can do that. If I want to make this way bigger, I can do that too. If I want to put it over myself, I could even put the video under myself. So if you want to do that, you just go into sources. And if I put it so it's underneath that source, now the video is behind me like this. Okay, so let's put that back up here. Okay. So yeah, the video is just as easy as everything else in terms of resizing and dragging things. So this is cute. Like, look at this. If I want to put the video up here, isn't that adorable? It's like a cute little video like playing during my stream. So yeah, there's a lot you guys can do. I mean, it's like, you look at what you can do in OBS and it's like, why would you not want to use OBS? Like, why would you want to keep using Zoom and all these other things that pretty much make it impossible for you guys to do? Okay, so that's how you do the video sources. And what you guys can do next is you can also transform things. So let me show you guys how that works. Okay, I'm going to actually get rid of this video source because it's a little bit distracting. So let me actually hide some of this text. So let's get rid of my yellow shape. I'm going to hide that. I'm going to hide my Christian Bale text. Let's leave Christian up there. Okay, so now we have Christian. And if I want to change something about this, I can just go in and you right click. Okay, so when you right click, all these different things show up. Okay, you can rename it, which is pretty easy. Let's just write Christian's pectoralis majors. Okay, there's our renaming. And the other thing you can do, if you want to delete it, you just click delete. That's very, very easy. Now, transform has all these different options. These are all these things you can do. So let's say, for example, I have done all this, oh, wrong one. Let's put on Christian. Okay, so let's say I have changed all these things and I've gone in and I've cropped stuff and done all these funny things with my source and I decide, oh, I don't like that. I want it to go back to normal. You just do right click, transform, reset transform. And so now the image is back to normal. So sometimes it's a lot easier for you guys to go back to where you were. Other options, if you guys want to do transform, you guys can rotate the image. So you can do that. And you can also flip it. Let's go back to normal. So if I do transform, I can do flip horizontal. Now Christian backwards. Let's switch him back. And you can also flip vertical. So this is really handy. Sometimes, you forgot to switch something in Photoshop, so you don't have to worry about that. And then there's other things you can do. You can do like stretch to screen. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it's an option. Or if you want to do fit to screen, that's better. You can also change center vertically, or whatever you guys want to do. I mean, you don't have to use those things. You can totally just drag things around. It'll be totally fine. Okay, so let's put Christian back where he belongs, which is here. Okay, there we go. So those are all things you guys can do. And if you want to delete something, like let's say here I have let's make the yellow shape come back. Okay, so I have the yellow shape. If I decide, oh, I don't want that yellow shape anymore, you just click here, just use the delete key like that, and then you're done. It will ask you, will say, do you want to remove the yellow shape? Click yes, and then it's gone, okay? All right, let me show you guys how the scenes really work, because there's a couple little shortcuts that are gonna make you guys have a more streamlined, automated way of organizing OBS, okay? So like I showed you guys before, oh, I'm so huge. Okay, let's, I need to get a little bit smaller. I'm gonna make myself a little bit less awkwardly sized for this stream. I feel a little bit too big. Okay, here we go. See, it's very easy to customize things immediately. Okay, so this is the scene that I use when I'm doing a live drawing demo, and this is the scene that I use when I'm just talking to people, okay? So again, you can go back and forth. It's literally one click to do that, which is really, really handy. And then I oftentimes reorder these. So usually for me, these are the two scenes that I use the most often. So I put them at the top, but what you could do, you can put them anywhere. So if you want to put this one down at the bottom like this, maybe you've stopped using that so much. And so I find that very helpful, because then I can find my scenes really quickly and not stress about where they are. And then another thing that I do is I sometimes create scenes not to actually stream, but just to store sources that maybe I use really often that I want to be able to put in really quickly, okay? Because sure, you can always go in here and do add image, but you know what's way faster, you guys? So let's say, for example, I have this one here, and I decide, oh, I want to put myself into here. Let's say I want to use this back skeleton torso, okay? I'm going to do Control-C, which is copy. I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to click inside the sources. I'm going to do Control-V, and that pastes that image from another scene into this scene. It's way, way faster than importing individual images. Or if you want to do a bunch of them, I can go back to the skeleton chart, and let's say, oh, I want to do all three. I can just do click, hold down Shift. I can do Control-C to copy. And then if I go in here and I click in sources, I can do Control-V. And now all of a sudden, all of these are in here. So now I can do front skeleton. I can do clavicles. I can add the sternum. It's so much faster. Like, especially if you want to cut and paste like 7 images, you don't want to have to like import every single image individually by doing the plus button. The cut and paste is much, much faster. So does everybody see that in here, for example, these are like my supply pictures. I might have some anatomy tutorials in here. So if I want this image, again, you can do Control-C to copy it. I can come back in here, click in sources, Control-V, and there's that image, okay? So these are all things that I use pretty often. Like sometimes I have a list of web pages. So like this is a web page that I need to refer to. You just click on it, Control-C, put it in here, click in sources, Control-V, and there's that website page. And again, you can basically any source that's in any scene, you can copy and paste it into another scene way, way faster. And of course, like I said earlier, you can always crop, make things bigger, something like that is pretty straightforward. Okay, now what you guys can do as well is sometimes, let's say you're adding an image, okay? You'll see here, there's this option, it says add existing. So these are sources that are all somewhere in OBS, Okay, so I could click add existing. All of a sudden, these have brightened up, and now I can go in and I could say, oh, I want to have a picture of our podcast on Spotify. So I can click on that, do OK, and now this pops up. OK, so that's another way if you want to find the source. But I think it's easier just to go into the scene and just find the source. I think it's a lot easier. OK, let's get rid of this podcast because I don't need it. And again, to delete, it's just a delete button. It says you want to remove, you get rid of it like that. OK, another cool thing you guys can do if you want to organize a little bit better. Some people like to do stuff like this. Like, let's say I have all these are skeleton slides and I want to be able to identify them quickly. You can do right click, set color, and let's say I want to make those yellow. Okay, so now this one is yellow. I think you can do it to all three of them at once. Let's just see. Yep. Okay, so now this is a lot easier because then if I want to say, okay, well, the reference photos, I want to make these a different color. Let's say make them blue. Okay, now those of you guys who enjoy color coding things, you could just go in and change the colors. And that's another way just to make things more automated, more streamlined. Because let's say like these are my hand photos. I could go in and do set color, maybe make these pink. And you can see that really helps organize things a little bit better. Okay, let's talk about layout now, because layout for a live drawing demo, it's actually trickier than you might think. And I have found that a lot of people, what they don't realize about a lot of these streams is that most students, when they're watching the video, they're probably going to watch it on the phone, okay? On a laptop is bigger, you can see things better. But I think what's very important in terms of the layouts is that you really maximize the space. Tell me in the chat, those of you guys who are students and you watch tutorials, do you watch them on a phone? Do you watch them on a laptop? I think most people watch it on a phone. So I think it's actually really important to make those spaces very large. So let me show you guys what you don't want to do in terms of the layout. So here is my avoid. Let me make myself a little bit less strangely shaped. Okay, here, let's just go in and crop myself like this. Okay, I'll put myself down here. Okay, couple things you guys want to do. First of all, anything that can be cropped should be cropped. Okay, so if you look at my reference photo, which is up here, you can see there's the figure, but there's all this extra space on the side. So what I would do is I would crop this. To crop, you do Alt, press that down, go in here, and now look at this. Now the image is cropped, and now if I click on it, I can make it much bigger. Okay, on a laptop, you might not think it makes that big of a difference, but it does on a phone. It really, really does. Let's see what people are watching on. Neil says, on my phone. Professor Terry is an old fart. OF means old fart here at Art Prof, in case you guys did not know. And Karen says, I mirror to TV, chat by phone. And Alice DB says iPad. Okay, so there's a range, but I think it's better to think about the phone because the phone is so small. Like on a laptop, you're fine. It really does not matter, okay? So you crop as much as you possibly can. And that means in the camera view, getting rid of stuff that does not matter. Like, why do we need to see the side of this drawing board? Again, that's taking up space. So I'm gonna crop like this. And same thing with drawing clips. It's like, that's not necessary. So let's go in and crop like this. And now if I put that flush to the edge, I mean, that's a big difference, you guys. Now the drawing area is so much larger. Your reference image is larger. Like all this stuff makes a really big difference, you guys, okay? So here's another few things too, is you don't want things to overlap because it looks sloppy. So if I put myself down here and I have it like this, that looks really sloppy because now I'm like on top of the drawing and you guys don't need me to be on top of the drawing. So what I would just say with all your sources, no matter what you guys are doing, you want to for sure put sources flush. against each other. So what I would do here is I might put this like that, and that's going to look a lot better. Okay. Now, same thing over here. Like if you want this to be larger so people can really read it. I mean, I always make Art Prof a little bit smaller like this. Then it fits the screen better, because you have to think about your video layout is like precious space. If you're watching on a phone, a little bit of extra image, making it just that much bigger, actually really does make a difference, you guys. Okay. Now, another thing is with your face. Okay. Now I'm here. This looks pretty good. I actually did a couple live streams like this where I showed more of my body, because I sort of thought, oh, well, maybe people want to see my hands moving from a different point of view. But actually, my interns told me that they didn't think it was necessary and they wanted to see more of my face. And so what I would not do here, like I would not show the whole thing. So if this was my actual video, I probably would crop myself like this and then make myself bigger like that. So that way you can see my face better. Okay. So let me actually get rid of this, because this is a screen cap, because I can't do two videos right now. So right now what I would do, maybe resize myself more like this. And this is a little bit too large. I mean, what I could do if I want to make myself more flush is I could click here, move that. Let's make this a little bit better. So this whole thing about the layout, you guys, it might seem uptight to like think this carefully about like, oh, is it flush? Does it look? I think it makes a difference. I think in terms of presentation, I do think people really think about that in terms of really making your streams look good. I mean, it makes a big difference. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Like Neil is saying here, we want to see your drawing face. I know my drawing face is always like me doing this like really stressed out face. It's squinting. Trust me, it really helps me with drawing. So, okay. So here we have a little bit of a better layout. And here's a small thing, which again, you don't have to do it, but I think it helps in terms of recognizing you as a teacher, especially if you're trying to get to know the students. You want them to remember you. Yes, it's great to be on video, but even better, put your name here, okay? So I have this as an image, and you'll see anytime I appear on video, I always have my name underneath, okay? And I know some people are teaching at a school, and they'll say put the school name maybe down here. Like if I want to just right here at the bottom, I could just add some text and say University of Awesome. Let's say, no, not awesome, best artists on the planet. How about that? Okay. So let's select the font, maybe something like this, and do okay. Whoops. Here we go. Okay. And then okay. And so, whoops, that looks really too big. I think I made the size really funky. Anyway, you can add text over there and pick the correct size, which I did not do. Okay. So you can add information like that, which I think is very, very helpful. And so really work on this, because I find that if you guys just have all that extra space, it just gets really, really confusing to look at. Or if you wanted to say, for example, like here's another reference photo. If I wanted to copy that and stick it in here, let's see. Oh, I wanted to go into here. Okay. So now let's go into sources. And let's say I want to remind the students, hey guys, this is the tutorial that I am going to be referencing. So I could, for example, crop this like this, and I could resize it, again, making it flush. And then here I have like a little visual reminder of, oh, okay, this is the tutorial you guys want to reference for later on. You can see it's a nice streamlined format. And we have a comment here from Fievel. It does make a difference because it's less distracting to have a good layout. Yeah, like if your layout is really busy, guys, like if your layout is like this and you have things in a funky size, like it is really distracting. So I definitely think this is worth the time. And remember, once you guys have the scene set up, you don't have to build this again. Like I can just go back and maybe I'm doing this, and then later on I can go back to this. So this is worth your time. Again, long-term sustainable solutions, not things that are a Band-Aid problem, which are just going to hold you over. And I like this comment from Neil, who is saying the proper format makes us respect the teacher. It shows they really mean something. They're not just goofing around. Rachel says, I just noticed this channel isn't verified when the community is massive and incredible. Hopefully sometime soon. Rachel, I think that might actually have something to do with the number of subscribers, because I think there's a whole process for being verified, but I hope so. I'm hoping for 100K subscribers. We're getting there. We're at like 69.8 subscribers, which is pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then a couple other things you guys can do that you might think about is, for example, sometimes I'll make things so that they're underneath another source to make sure if I move it, it's not a problem. So does everybody see here? I just made my video a little bit bigger. If I put it underneath like this, now no matter what I do, it has to stay underneath the drawing. And like, for example, here, like maybe I don't want that to happen either. So you can definitely like drag things around and change. Like if I want to make this really big, but I want it to be over this, I probably want to move this up like that. And now this goes over the reference photo. So it is worth it when you guys are doing the layouts to consider what source is underneath or on top of another source, because sometimes it just makes it a lot easier for you guys to take care of. Slepnir wants to see me dance. See, I made a deal with the Art Prof family that if we hit 1 million subscribers, I'm going to dance on video. That's the only way you guys are going to get me to do that. So maybe someday we will definitely see. Okay. Now, another thing you guys should remember, there are 2 things about OBS that you have to keep in mind. The first thing is you can't undo anything. Okay. So if I go in here and I decide I want to crop out or not crop out, if I want to delete the source, and I say, yep, I want to remove it, you can't get it back. Like you have to go back in, you have to import it again, stuff like that. So if you are looking for that undo button in OBS, it does not exist, okay? So that's why I think it's better if there's a source you decide, oh, I don't want to use it anymore, just hide it. I think that's a little bit easier because it's a pain if you like change your mind that you actually do want to use that source later on. And then another thing is, don't move your files, because if you move your files around into different folders, OBS will try to find it and then it'll disappear. Like if you delete a file on your computer and OBS has a source going to that file and it can't find the file, it's not going to show up. So it's sort of like Premiere. For those of you who use Premiere, if you move around your files, you are screwed. So don't do that. I would just say have a folder that's just for OBS, and then you don't have to worry about that. All right, so let me actually stop sharing this screen here, and I'm going to go back to my StreamYard. Not my StreamYard. I'm actually going to go back to my slides so we can pick up from the other section. Okay, so let me just do, let's see, view, present, and let's go to share screen so we can head back to here. Okay, got to put myself back. All right, actually, this is the first slide. Let's go down to the bottom slide so we can see what else is going on. Okay, here we go. That's better. Okay, so teachers, if you guys want more free resources on training for remote learning, we do have this section on artprof.org, Teaching and Learning Art Online. This section's getting bigger every day. We're adding more content, more stuff that is customized for remote learning. This is a general practices video that I think is really good to get started so you know what my approach is and where I'm coming from. And you'll see we have many different sections. If you scroll down, there's equipment and software, tips for teachers, home art supplies, prompts, critiques, everything you guys need. There's even a big chart of home art supplies that you would encourage your students to use. This stream is really important if you guys actually want to use OBS to stream live to YouTube. This will show you everything you need to know to do that. If you want to use Discord, that's also helpful. And then there's, of course, so many other videos, hybrid teaching, equipment and setup. And we have links and images to recommended equipment, equipment to avoid, which is actually sort of more important, art supplies, getting to know your students. We even have tips from students themselves, which I found so valuable, stuff for our home studio. And of course, we're streaming live almost every night here on YouTube. Art Prof has a Spotify podcast, which is available. We also have it on iTunes. We would love it for you guys to leave us a rating and a review. Please join me in the Discord if you guys want to hang out for a little bit. I will be in the post live streams channel in a little bit. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and join the Art Prof family. And again, thank you so much to our top Patreon supporters who make everything at Art Prof possible. Thank you to everybody who joined the chat, provided feedback, and gave ideas for the stream. Everybody, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.